everybody do? Everything looks pretty good. Sorry, we're a little late, kind of like usual. Only 20 minutes this time. Sorry, we're trying to get our shit together. But we're going to be doing up some ramen and some super juice. First things first. Let's get some music going. Everybody likes a little music. Did like Mahler last time. Pretty good. Let's do Symphony. So I did number 5 last time. Let's do Symphony number 2. All right. So we are going to be doing, I got a crock pot over here with some spare ribs that I'm sure this will end up getting used. Half an onion that I didn't throw in the crock pot. But basically, you take your crock pot and you fill it with a little bit of water. I added some vinegar as well. Whole black peppercorns, ginger, and onion. And I did spare ribs. If you're going to make a good broth, right, a good bone broth, you'd like a lot of bones. And the spare ribs have the most amount of bones, which is why it's cheaper as a cut of meat. But it's advantageous for our scenario, so, you know, extra bones means extra flavor. So I took a whole rack of spare ribs, that crossbone and everything, and I boiled it in that pot up there in like thirds. You just let it boil for about 5 minutes, and then you wash it off. It's to get all the impurities and scum off the top. Yeah, and so the pork has been on high in this crock pot for about 9 hours. Big Hammer 69, welcome. Anyways, yeah, so it's about time to pull out our meat, and I'm going to debone it. Bones are going to go back in, and I'm going to add some ramen stuff to make this like a proper dashi stock. So, and then this will go basically most of the stream. I'm going to make a tare for like a spicy miso. Yeah, Flavor City, exactly. So first things first, let's pull all our stuff out. And I just turned off this crock pot maybe 30 minutes ago. So it's going to be hot, all the stuff. So it's best to just pull it, and you can just wait. Doesn't matter. Because that way, you know, you don't burn your hands. Lots of nutrition in that RU. I friggin' love slow cookers. Yeah, for sure. Especially stuff with bones in it. Roux. No roux here. No flour. But I think it's spelled R-O-U-X. It's French. Oh, I added some fish sauce too. Because we're going to be adding bonito flakes. But I find that the broth is always a little under salted. So I just added some fish sauce. Like a sauce mixture. Yeah, for sure. Sorry. Sometimes we get a little technical around here. like we're going to be doing super juice stuff later, and it involves a bit of math. And I haven't looked up the math, but we will look it up and we'll do all the math. Because it's different per, yeah, it's all right. We'll get into it when we get into it. Hey man, I am an amateur rapper. I was wondering if you would listen to a new track I made last weekend. Not on stream right now, sorry. A little busy. But if you could let us know how to find it, I'll listen to it off stream. I'm always down for new music. Just a little busy right now, is all. Now we got some pretty good, we're well on our way to making some good stock here. So I'm going to, here, might be easier to put the stuff in right now. So that way people can see with their special eyes. We've got our kombu, which is kelp. We've got bonito flakes, got mushrooms, big bag of mushrooms, bonito, here it is. All right. So the base of a lot of Japanese broths is dashi, which is kombu and bonito. So it is kelp. You get this in your Asian food store. Make sure I'm not going to burn this plastic. And it just comes in these big sheets. And I'll normally use about half a sheet. This is about half, right? Because it's folded in half. So I'll use half of that. And bonito flakes, which are, it's like fish scales or something. I think so. And they like dry it out. So I'm just gonna sprinkle a healthy amount in. So once this cooks down in it and we strain it out, that'll be the dashi portion of it. So this is like a tonkatsu, or not katsu. Katsu's the fried guy. Maybe I'm dumb. I don't know. I don't know the Japanese word. Yeah, so we got our bonito, we got our kombu, and then for good measure, I like to add some dried mushrooms. Just to really fill out our broth. So this. I have a half a feeling that I left a half open one back here. Did I do that? Nope, I don't think I did. Okay. Well, it's always worth being skeptical until it isn't. Are we on YouTube? Okay, cool. Thank you, fearless producer. So I had about 5. And then I turn the crock back on and I let it go for another couple hours. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Couple smaller ones. And you smell it, like it feels very earthy. This is perfect for cold weather. So we're going to bring our crock pot back over. Turn it back on high. Just let that go for a large portion of the stream. Okay, we want this to cool off, and then we'll separate our meat from our bones. We'll add the bones back in. Some might say that's a little overkill on the bones. Some might say I'm like over extracting or whatever, and it's like, I don't know, man. There'd be more flavor in the bones. I want everything I can get out of these bones. Still hot? It's not so hot. Okay. Let us grab perhaps another bowl. Bowls on bowls. And we're going to parse through these. Oh, it's still hot. It's still really hot. Okay. We'll wait on that. That's fine. It's all right. We got other things we can be doing. So in my best understanding, we'll leave this over there for a little while. Doesn't matter. It can cool off however it needs to cool off. So in my understanding of like ramen stuffs is they always they basically make like one big stock or maybe a couple, and then they alter their stocks to match whatever ramen you want to order, right? So that be shio is salt, shoyu is soy sauce, and miso, of course, is miso. Um, and so they make like, I mean, you can just add soy sauce, you can just add miso, right? But quite typically, it's called a tare. It's a base, right? A mixture of stuff, heavily featuring miso, soy sauce, right? And then you add that to your broth, mix it in, and then you get, ooh, now it's this other kind of broth, right? So we're making our base, right? But we need to make a tare for spicy miso ramen. That's my favorite tare to make. So we're going to bust out a crock pot. And when you look up these recipes, I'm not going super fancy with it. If you look up like miso tare or miso ramen tare, they'll go and they'll be like, you need like 3 different kinds of miso, and you need this and that, and like, I'm doing a big double batch because I'm gonna give some of it away, the tare. So maybe I should have gotten 2 kinds of miso, but we're here, you know. Also got gochujang. Did that end up? Where did that end up? I got 2 deals of gochujang. Did they end up over here? They did end up over here. All right. So this one is fairly simple, and it's probably not traditional, but I go almost equal parts miso, and gochujang. And we've got sesame seeds. We've got gingebre. We're going to use a lot of grated ginger in this. We need a bunch of garlic. And should be used. We need a bunch of garlic. And what else? Oh, yeah. Sake. Let me try to remember what I put in it. We need sesame oil. And what am I thinking of? I feel like there's something else. We got enough salt. Did I add a little bit of sugar? I can't even remember. You know what? We will taste and season to taste. I do have brown sugar here. We might use it. We might not use it. First things first, let's open this. Probably should have chilled this, but cannot be bothered primarily cooking with it, but here we are. Got my Aperol Spritz glass. Big glass for a big bottle. It's fine. I'm not super knowledgeable about sake, so I'm not gonna pretend that I know a ton. I actually need to take out the compost. I'll be right back. Forgot to do that. Un segundo. Compost. All right. Sorry about that. Forgot to take it out. Should I flip this over? I kind of did it up. Now I feel like it's on backwards. Flip it over. Yeah? Sounds good still? Yeah. All right. Great. Okay. So what we're going to want to do is combine all these ingredients. God, I need some water. Jeez. Fair amount of sesame oil. And then we're going to add, we're not going to use all that. All right, but we are going to use all that. So let's see, this is 400 grams, and this is 500 grams. So we should probably use both of these and like 1.5 of these, right? Thereabouts. It's always rough. There's no measurement, right? But yeah, look it up. Tare. T-A-R-E. You don't want to come out? If you do it right, you can get it all to just kind of come out. There you go. Pop. If you mess with it, I think it's all messed up. But yeah, we're going to be adding a fair amount of that sake to this and cooking it back down. We'd like it to be approaching somewhere between this kind of pasty miso and this sticky gochujang, right? As it is an amalgam. But we would like it, the tare should be of a similar consistency. So whatever liquid you add, you need to cook it off. Takes a little bit. But it's very good, and it keeps forever, right? Typically, I'm going to do a little bowl here before we finish the stream. But typically, you would want this to sit overnight, at least, before you use it. And we're making this for Dungeons & Dragons, folks, tomorrow. So, it'll be good for that. And it's not bad. It's just like, you want to give it a little time to just kind of set up. All right. Gochujang is pretty hard to work with. It doesn't like mixing with stuff. It's pretty sticky. So spatula is advised. And it's spicy miso, right? So if you got a little less gochujang, that's not a problem. Gochujang isn't super spicy, right? It's very fruity, honestly. That's what a lot of fermentation ends up doing, and it ends up like rounding out flavors. Of course, there's like, you know, fermented ghost pepper, and it's still spicy, but I don't know. All right. So there's one. Let's use half another one. This is a little different brand. They're mostly the same though. You want to make sure it says product of Korea on it. I wouldn't be super confident about non-Korean varieties of gochujang. But like if you look at the one on in Trader Joe's, they get the little ones. Not this big, of course, but They're kind of teeny, half size, even smaller. They all say product of Korea on them. So, whereas like this miso is made in California, I believe. And that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. It's just I don't think their gochujang has proliferated here long enough for there to be serious producers of it. And if you get but it's been here long enough to be trendy, right? So if you get gochujang this, gochujang that, you know what I mean? It can be a bunch of hip, trendy shit, right? But if it says not from Korea, then I don't know. I might be wrong too, but you just want to get the real stuff, right? You don't want to get hoodwinked by some like new form of sriracha mayo when you're trying to get, this stuff that you're going to cook down with, right? Let's do one more. All right. We'll call that half and half, 50-50. Sweet heat. Is this empty? Does this have anything in it? Barely. That's whatever. Who cares? All right. Just toss this back there. The rest of it. And from here, we can start cooking this down. I'm gonna move this so it's not so rickety. The rickety stream. And I'm actually gonna opt for wooden spoon, but we'd like the flat wooden spoon with nothing on it. That's the one we want. Is it in here? Is it blocking my way to open the thing? No, it's not. Onion. Here. Sticky stuff. This over here. Everything else. Okay. And we just want to massage this into like kind of a homogeneous sort of thing. Just kind of on a light, medium heat. This takes a little while. But it's okay. Because this will keep in your refrigerator forever. And whenever you want ramen, even any other kind of ramen, if you're doing up a packet or whatever, if you're that kind of person, no shame. You got this. You can soup it up. Maybe boil an egg. Add some scallions, and you're on your way, man. It was much easier in this Dutch oven. I didn't use this Dutch oven before. I used like more like a pan like this guy. This is cool though. Just clean this reseason. We might pull that back out later, but for now. Perhaps should keep it all with the thing. This one wasn't even opened. Oh. but you can see the consistency, right? The the gochujang is very tacky, while the miso is a lot more, adheres to itself more than it adheres to other things. So it gets a little more workable once you start adding other stuff to it. And then towards the end, it will become unworkable again. It will become. I cook it down to where it's almost like waxy. It's like a. I don't know. Maybe I should just leave the fucking thing in it. All right. Let's get working on some of these extra aromatics. What am I kidding? I don't use a vegetable peeler for ginger. I use a spoon. Maybe I should have picked a sharper spoon. That's fine. Just trying to get most of it off, right? Don't have to be perfect. All right. Now we can basically just microplane all this into there. Oh, you know what? Instead of, I think it calls for mirin. Do we still have mirin? I don't even really like mirin, honestly. I think it kind of sucks. It's an annoying thing that just kind of sits around. Best Buy. Jesus Christ, is that 20? Is that 3036? I don't even know what it says on this thing. Let's see. Do we have Huh. Alright. Well, whatevs. I like brown sugar more than mirin. Out of all the ferments to come out of Japan, it surprises me so much that mirin actually is used by people for whatever reason. Seems so odd. You know what I mean? It's just like a sweet. It might as well be sugar water. If you get it from like a good ferment, maybe it could add some stuff. I don't know. Totally willing to be schooled on mirin, but so far they only ever come in these like chintzy bottles. They're not super. They don't impress me a whole lot. So. You know what? I guess this is a double batch. You know, we'll leave our stuff over here and we'll taste. Part of the reason why we use a spoon too is like it's really helpful for getting stuff off the microplane. Ginger's particularly fibrous and it does not like getting off. All right, do this. Now we get to peel a bunch of garlic. We can press into it. teeny. These little teeny cloves may sound like procrastination, but I just toss them in the bottom of the bowl. Because they're not worth it for me right now. But boy, howdy, when you get 5 or 6 of those teeny little guys together, and you thought you didn't have any garlic, you can make something work. And then you go, oh, thank God I had these little bits and ends of teeny garlic cloves. I don't know. All right, we're just going to peel all this. Well, that guy never sent his wrap stuff. That's sad. Big Hammer 69. I hope you are well. Kind of reminds me, yeah, like a bunch of outside labor. You know, it's just like kind of rough, and you're out in the woods, like working on shit. And there was this guy who joined our crew. His name was Thor. I was like, oh, this is pretty. And he lasted a day, 2 days, and kind of gave off this like goldfish kind of vibe, where like you name it something really cool, and it's just like a goldfish that just kind of goes away. You're like, not Thor. Oh no. Almost done peeling our garlic. And that's the thing. You want to kind of mind this while it's in a thicker consistency. So I see stuff coming off, and I'm like, I gotta go over there and check on it. Yep. Yep. There. Too hot. Not a problem, but perhaps getting a little too cart before the horse. I like to get a little bit of a sear on some of these things before we start adding more liquid. But we would like to, yeah, there's a little bit of a fond on the bottom. We'd like to loosen that up if we could. Got to be careful in this first part. We'll leave that off the heat for just a minute or two. No problem. Right. Best to go slower than faster. Especially if you're making this for, to last for a while. What's a couple minutes now? If you, get to enjoy this whenever you'd like. For a long time. Okay, let's kind of trim up some of these garlic cloves. They don't look bad, but they don't look the best they could either. Some of them got little funky spots. This guy. Yeah, let's just loosen up this consistency a little bit. There's going to be a part where we really do thin it out quite a bit. I just want to make sure, there's none of this fond gets a little, worse for wear, right? Garlic press. fair amount of garlic. Add a bunch of sesame seeds too. There we go. That font is looking a lot better. It's not like there was anything wrong with it. It's just I felt like it was going a little too fast for my liking. Especially with something that gets really thick. You know, why would we want to develop some sticky shit on the bottom of the pot if it's already going to get even stickier? It's getting sticky. Yeah. So. It always like. I'm just like, what the fuck is this stuff really? How about that? There you go. It's sweet. It's in the thing. I kind of like the brown sugar a little better. I'm gonna be honest. Oh. Spicy miso tare. There was one specifically that I kind of followed the format of, but riffed on it. Okay, so it wants like miso, red miso, blah blah blah, salt, sesame, gochujang. So that one has it that way. All right, well, it's whatever. I think we're doing most what we want here. I'm just gonna add even more of this. Like I want it thin and like almost like a slurry. And you cook it back down from there, and it so good. It adds a lot of fruity flavor to it, right? Because the rice wine is very fruity. Yeah, something like that's, might even get it a little thinner than this, just like, you know. We want to cook this back to a miso like consistency. So we'll just keep it on that low heat and we'll let it cook down for a while, stirring semi-regularly. I'm going to toss this in the refrigerator. Yeah, that's what we like. All right. This feels like it's cooled off quite a bit. So we can start deboning our ribs. So these spare ribs have the riblets in them. So I try to work my way through this by hand to make sure, you know, when this, because this is the stuff that I'm actually going to be putting in the ramen instead of like a chasu or something like that. So we want to make sure that our, you know, meat is free of gristly objects. Yeah. God, it's still hot. Shit, dude. Well, we'll just work through it. All right, so we got our meat, but we have a lot of this like gelatinized cartilage sort of material. And I try to strip all the meat off of the cartilage if I can. Right, this is the riblet portion. So that can go in there. We just kind of do that for all of them. And this is something that, you know, it's not like something you can't eat. It's just something that kind of gives an off texture. And if it remains in the broth longer, it just basically starts to disintegrate even more and more. and just further gelatinizes the stock, right? So we could take something that isn't the best mouthfeel and eat it, or we could use it to make thicker, better stock. I think the choice is pretty clear. Or maybe I'm wrong. Feel free to school me. I'd love to learn. On. It's all good. Little guy up here. Crossbone area. Just making this pulled pork, right? Unctuous pulled pork. You know, I watch a lot of cooking content on YouTube. I know sometimes on Twitch it's a foul to talk about stuff on YouTube, but I was using the word unctuous almost entirely based off of the connotations I was hearing it. I never looked it up. To me, unctuous kind of has this. When I make chimichurri, I add fish sauce to my chimichurri because it gives it this oddly addictive quality. Not enough fish sauce to tell that there's fish sauce in it, just enough to like zhuzh it, right? It gives it this oddly addictive quality where when you taste it, you immediately want to taste it again. And that was what I was associating with the word unctuous, right? Unctuous, like, right? It's got this really onomatopoetic, like, ooh, like, oh, man, like, oh, like a visceral thing. Apparently, it just means rich, and which is not the same thing as what I was thinking. So, you know, get fucked. Use the dictionary. Change the meanings. I guess we could try to change the meaning. Make unctuous addictive. More meat in here. Oops. All right, that seems like about it. So now we should be able to be good with this. I should give that another stir. And we can re-add the what's left in the pot in the bone bowl back into the stock. First things first, make sure not doing this dirty. All right, good stuff. All right, back into the pot. All right, cool. It's going pretty good. Oh man, pulled pork. What's not to love? Ooh, very, very good. No, this recipe is actually pretty cheap, right? Once you have the tare, and I mean, you can do half of this, right? So it'd be one deal of miso, which is like $5. Another deal of gochujang, which is another $5. And then like some odds and ends of things, that's maybe another $5 worth. So $15 for something that like honestly, we'll make this once, and then we'll do ramen for like 6 months, 4 months. I mean, you do it more over winter than you do it. And like I don't have to make this again for a long time. And it's not that expensive, and then I just use spare ribs, which are like the cheapest ribs you can find in the store. And it makes good stuff. I guess there's the kombu and the bonito. So that's adding another. But like per thing, I mean per bag of stuff, I think maybe I use and then $5 of stuff. Yeah, I don't know. Not super fancy. Just all the ingredients you'd like. Okay. Maybe we'll turn this up just a little more. Now that we can dedicate a little more time to watching it more closely. So for the second part of this video, while this tare is cooking down, since I figured it would take a while, I wanted to experiment with making super juice. If anyone is familiar with super juice, they'll probably be excited, unless they've already made it. I've never made it before. And they might be like, oh, I've seen this song and dance. But for all of those who haven't, super juice is basically, and we're just going to do it with orange today for the most part. But, right, you have different fruits and citruses have different acid profiles. Yeah? And the one we like the most for the purposes of mixing cocktails is lime. Lime is our favorite. Lime is our best friend. It has the most, would I say, unctuous quality? No, I shouldn't say that because it's, I guess, not what it means. But limes and lemons, right? These are like super good stuff for making cocktails. And they have a specific acid profile. So if we can grab some acid and adjust other things like oranges to the acid consistency of a lime, then we can make lime stuff out of lemon stuff. And it tastes like lemon, but it behaves like lime. It's called super juice. It's pretty interesting. So I wanted to make some, see if we could get some interesting stuff going. So I have malic acid. That's associated with like green apple, more specifically. And then citric acid, which is what's ascorbic, right? Or is just citric? They're very similar. Ascorbic acid is vitamin C. Citric acid, not exactly the same thing, but you know, all that good stuff. So we're gonna juice a bunch of oranges. See if we can't make some orange super juice. And then maybe we'll mix a cocktail or two and experiment around with it, right? And I know I've done a couple things where I've required a pretty significant amount of citrus, so I picked up one of these from my supermarket. I picked up this brand new from my supermarket. No. So we're gonna make some super juice. Let's just put it in like a deli container. That sounds good. So we're gonna juice a bunch of oranges. 3 oranges. Perhaps we don't want the garlic in our thing. That's right. That's what I was going to do. Try to keep the cutting boards separate for things that don't like to mix. We got our little cocktail cutting board here. So we'll just use that. feeling we're going to want a splatter guard for this. It is getting thicker and thicker. I don't think we want tare in our super juice. Also, what was I going to grab? Scale. Yeah, okay. Let's put this over here. All right. Yeah. All right, cool. Let's look it up first. We want orange super juice. Super juice. How to get 8 as much juice? Or orange. No, not super juice. We want acid adjust. I think. Acid adjust. Orange juice. Maybe super juice is a different thing. There's so many cocktail things. I thought it was called super juice. Yeah, right. You got grapefruit to lemon, grapefruit to lime, orange to lemon, orange to lime per 1 liter of juice. Okay. Well, then we should change this to milliliters. And I'm going to keep poking this so that way we can try and I don't care about pulp. Yeah, that was pretty easy. Ooh, tool. Let's add our juice. Oh my god. Pour correctly. Jesus Christ. Well, that's 100 milliliters, so this is... Perhaps we need many more oranges. Shit. Well, we should be able to at least make some acid adjust. Maybe I should have gotten more kind of other kinds of fruit, too. I do have pineapple juice. Oh, yeah. I got pineapple juice in a can. We could try to acid adjust that. Let's try and acid adjust that, too. I should have used a smaller container. I'm dumb. Okay, so is it better if you just do one at a time? Maybe it's better to do one at a time. God, I'm really just freaking destroying these oranges. I just want to get all the juice out of them. You know what I mean? I pay for that juice. You can't tell me I can't have that juice. $1.90. For now, we're just going to adjust the lime. That's why we also need malic. If you wanted to adjust just a lemon, you could use just citric. Or, yeah, well, lime has malic and citric. Lemon just has citric for the acid adjust. So if you want it to behave like lemon, you can adjust it to lemon. and vice versa. Quick pour. Quick maths. I think it's the pulp causing it to not want to. All right, we got 286. 286 grams or milliliters. It's the same shit. Doesn't really matter. Orange to, so 32 and 20. 286. So 32 and 20. So 0.286 times 32 is 9 point, we'll just go with 9 of citric. 9 grams of citric. All right. Very smartly, just pouring it straight from the bag into it. Like a real scientist, you just fucking, yeah. Just get out, yeah. We want 9.1 actually, but 1.5. Oh, we good. Okay, perfect. That's fine. That's 9.2. So 9.152 rounds up to 9.2. All right. So there's our citric. And for our malic, we want per liter. Oh shit, I changed the unit instead of the gram. We want 32 and 20. So times 20, which is 5.7. Okay, I have a feeling this one needs a bit of a spoon because it's very wide mouth. And I'm going to pour a shitload of malic acid in there. And it's just going to taste like green apple. And I want lime. I don't want green apple. I like green apple, but ain't nobody got time for that. Maybe another time. Okay. We were looking at the reviews of this online. I guess there are a lot of people saying that this cures their probiotic illness deficiencies and stuff. Golly, Jesus Christ, just come the fuck on. Open sesame, Jesus Christ. Stabbing things with knives. Very patient. This is like some fucking industrial. Oh, it comes with a little pourer, a little scooper. Fuck yeah. You get me. You understand me, malic acid. 5.7. So we get a little scooper. $5.72. All right, 5.7. And now what? We just mix it up. Folgers in our cup. Fucking. I heard a really good thing on this podcast, Cooking Issues with Dave Arnold. He also does a bunch of cocktail stuff. And somebody on there gave him the idea to acid adjust different kinds of fruit and then make key lime pies out of like any fruit you want. And so far, he's been making every fruit under the sun into a key lime pie. All right, we just mix it together. Whoa, 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 whoa! Wow, that is some Sunny D shit right there. Golly, whoa! God damn. Huh. Now there's a drink that I like to make. I used to do this movie night with some of my friends. Might come back. Who knows? If you know, you know. Here, I'm gonna put this into like a smaller vessel. Perhaps something a little more pourable. Do I have anything like that? We'll put it in this Abs peanut butter jar. How about that? Just so it's not so. Here we go. Now it's a container that's almost full instead of one that's almost empty. Look at that shit. Whoa, we got so much of this stuff. So there's a drink that I like to make that I came up with probably like 4 months ago. 4 months ago? Yeah, about 4 months. No, it was back in June. So that was... God, that super juice is fucking crazy. But yeah, it was for a movie night. And we were watching The Dark Crystal. And beforehand, I wanted to come up with something that I could make that would evoke the kind of alien landscape of the Dark Crystal. And I came up with this thing. I call it a dipstick because it looks like something that would come out of your radiator or your engine. Kind of looks weird. But it tastes really good. So with me, I have... Here, I got a better idea. Let's huck all this shit into the compost. Move this over. And then we can line the walls of our thing with our booze. Okay. We'll start with little bottles and it's all right. I'm just starting to get really obsessive about like trying to get things like, look at that. Look, you can see all this stuff. Whoa. Anyways, it is this cocktail that you wouldn't imagine to be so, and I can't remember, I shook it some and I didn't shake it other times. But it has citrus and rum in it, so I think it deserves to be shaken. But I also know there's a whole school of thought around not shaking gin. But we're going to shake it anyway. So basically, we had done a movie night the night before, or not the night before, but like a couple weeks before, sorry. And I had bought an absinthe, because I made Sazeracs, just like a riff on old fashioned. And I had all this absinthe. And I was kind of struck by, like, I do like a Sazerac, but I add some citrus back to it instead of just expressing the peel. And there was something about the Sazerac without the citrus that felt like the absinthe is just kind of something thrown in. It doesn't really like meld very well. And so I had all this absinthe and I was kind of experimenting around with it. And I wanted to see if I could make something that like really embraced the absinthe in kind of a different way. And this is what I came up with. Jeez. And so basically, the absinthe makes friends with the gin, and then the citrus makes friends with the Batavia Iraq. Citrus and Batavia Iraq are best friends. You thought regular rum and citrus was good? That's way, way fucking good. I can't remember the exact measurements. I don't think it was equal parts because I think it's equal parts gin and Batavia Iraq and then half part absinthe. But it is pretty heavy on the absinthe on purpose because I just wanted to see if you could make an absinthe forward drink that like is it one of each? It can't be one of each. Here. We'll experiment around with it. I'll try to find it again. But yeah. I used lime and orange bitters to make the lime come across a little more orangey. And I was thinking, what if we're gonna do 1.5 ounce? What if I just use this acid adjusted juice so that way I don't have to use the orange bitters? Because let's be real, orange bitters aren't bitter. God, it smells so fucking good. This smells like a Dionysus's fucking refrigerator or something. I don't know if that makes any sense, but sure does to me. It just smells like ambrosia and just like it smells like fruit. It's interesting, right? So they use Java red rice in this. I'm always recommending people get Batavia Iraq, especially if you're gonna mix with other rums. This shit is so awesome. Okay, well, 1.5 ounce of each, so let's do 3/4 ounce absinthe. So this will have a real strong anise flavor. And salt. We don't want to forget our salt and our sugar. I need the little tray. That way we can just grab salt with our fingers. Just a teeny bit of salt. I got some Demerara simple syrup. So when this mixes with the, green absinthe, it comes out very, engine coolant colored. But it's fun. It's part of the thing. You give someone this weird drink, and they're just like, what the fuck is this thing? And they drink it and they go, oh. This drink feels very alien, too. It kind of fit with the dark crystal theme pretty well. orange bitters, right? So this is like the poor man's acid adjust, right? Instead of adjusting the orange to the acid profile of lime, we adjust lime to the flavor of orange. And I might be wrong. It might be equal parts. It might be that absinthe forward. I can't remember. But we'll try. And this just makes this wonderful anise kind of. You know, it kind of comes out this like engine coolant color. That's enough anise. Yeah. Maybe a little more orange. You know what? Let's add a little bit of this. Just playing around. All right. Let's see, did I overshoot? Whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. Super cool. Wow. See, I'm used to this a little more the other way around, where the lime masquerades as the orange, but now the orange is masquerading as the lime a little more. Weird. But yeah, mixology shit. Or whatever. Whatever you want to call it. Doesn't matter. Mixology sounds a little more highbrow than it is. It's just like fucking around with stuff and drinking. Not sure if that is mixology. Oh, that's right. Putting things away before I know what we're doing. And we're looking good. See, it's getting a little thicker, right? So what we wanted to do, let's just pull out one of these mason jars. We wanted to acid adjust pineapple juice to lime. Let's try that. That sounds wonderful. Orange pineapple to lime. It's the same thing. 32 grams citric and 20 grams malic. So I guess the acid profile of orange and pineapple are, I'd say they're about similar. The timbre is different, but the acid, like strength and kind of variance, is, yeah. Okay. That sounds about right. All right. Then let us, we've got, I'm not juicing pineapple fresh, but I got some of this pineapple juice for tiki cocktails and such. So let's it's 32 and 20 per liter. Always more citric, right? All right. a lot more similar than I remember. I just thought this was a little more yellow. All right. Okay. So 193 milliliters. 0.193 times 32 and 20 times 32. So we want 6.17 grams of citric acid. Overshot a little bit. Put 7 grams in there. Just getting too into my Mahler. Not paying attention. So that's an extra gram. We'll take off a gram from this. All right, so 20, which is 3.86. So we'll go with 2.8. Won't be exactly the same profile, but so it'll be somewhere between lemon and lime. That's fine. Probably want to zero this out first. That's good. All right. All right, let's see. Acid adjusted pineapple juice. Should function like a lemon or a lime. Let's see. Whoa. Wow. Ah. Cool. Very cool. I love this shit. This is so much fun. Crazy world of food, man. Actually, grabbing a little midstream snack. This is a really good cocktail, I will say. So it's equal parts. So 1 part gin, 1 part Batavia rack, half part absinthe, decent amount of lime, pepper it with a bunch of orange bitters, some simple syrup, demerara if you want it to come out a little more brown, kind of freak people out. I mean, unless they've had a bunch of tiki drinks before. But the kind of green brown kind of throws people for a loop. I don't know. Citrusy cocktail embraces absinthe in a fun way. All that good stuff. So this has been going for almost 2 hours now. I'd like it to go. You know, we'll pull this at 9, so in half an hour. Let's see, do we have any other juices? Would you like to try some of the super juice? Should I put them in little containers? Okay, we have orange and pineapple. producer would like to taste. We've got some of these little guys. These are good for this sort of thing. So I messed up a teensy bit on the pineapple one. So it's somewhere between lemon and lime. Because I added too much citric, and so I compensated by adding less malic. And orange should be fairly close, but it's got a little bit of pulp in it. Producer likes sour, so... Here you go.
Pineapple?
Pineapple, yeah. Yeah. You know, extra pineapple punch. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
So you can use the pineapple as a lime. Yeah, the orange is, that one's more on point, but yeah.
It's almost like a Sunny D.
Almost like Sunny D. That's what I was saying. Very big Sunny D energy.
Like the sour tang.
Yeah, the tang.
Not as chemically.
No, and not as chemically, for sure. Fresh pressed Sunny D. Extra sour. Yeah? Okay, cool. For the noodle component of the ramen, I mean, we make it like ramen, but we use udon. So, it's because, you know, that broth is pretty heavy duty, and we got like pulled pork and this tare, and I saute up some bok choy and mushrooms and stuff. So, we've tried it with somen, and we've tried it with like other kinds of regular ramen. And I just like the thicker udon. It just holds up better in a way where, like, oh, I forgot. There's 4, not 3.
Yeah.
So if each one of these is for 2 people,
Oh, we just need the one.
then we would just need 1. Potentially. I don't know. Yeah. So we use udon. So when I say ramen, that might sound a bit weird to say udon, but we make it like ramen in every way. We just use the udon noodles. They're thicker, they're bigger. You know, if you've ever had like chicken noodle soup with like big thick baker's noodles, you'll know what I mean. Like a big thick noodle, there's something about it, right? And if you had like a hearty soup like that with a real thin noodle, it just get lost in the sauce, man. It just goes away. It doesn't hold up, right? So we use the udon, and I think it works really well. Something to note is that if you can, here, you might be able to see it. Sorry, this is a little blurry, but this is actually coated in flour. Like you can see like the sheen from the plastic, but it's coated in flour. If you see something floury like this, that means this is raw, right? This has not been cooked. If you look at like the yakisobas that you get at the store or anything like that, or any noodle that has like a waxy quality to it, like it might be, you know, have some like malleability, but it's waxy, it means it's been par cooked or already cooked, right? And so I like these ones. Get these at the Asian food store. Really good, really hearty. Holds up to like a lot of big flavors and big players. You know, you'd like to, I mean, I'm not a noodle person, but I'd rather have an effective noodle to an ineffective noodle, right? So, udon. Get you some. And then for our extras, I've got some oyster mushrooms and some bok choy that we're gonna saute up. Scallions go on top. And then we can do our egg as well. So we got the bok choy, green onion, and our oyster mushrooms. Normally I use enoki mushrooms, but I forgot to get some when I went to the Asian food store about a week ago, and there were oyster mushrooms in my regular grocery store. So that's what we're going with. And I like to actually saute them up in some chili crisp, some like chili oil. I find that it adds some pretty good, flavor and makes the vegetables come out, because you want to saute it, like especially the bok choy. You want to saute it out a little bit, so it kind of has this like, it brings out the toasted, earthy kind of vegetal sort of nature. And I feel like adding spice to the stuff that goes on top helps differentiate it from the soup itself. So things kind of exist in their own realm. I don't know. I don't know if that's smart. I don't know if it's dumb. I don't know if it makes sense. Don't know if it doesn't make sense. We're going to do up a couple of eggs. You know what? Let's do... Because I need people for tomorrow. So we can just do these right now, right? Let's just do all 7. 2, 4, yeah. These egg boiler things tend to work pretty well. I like them anyway. This one, when I was using it a lot, kind of had a bit of variance that annoyed me. But it is nothing compared to the variance if I try to make them in a pot. And so, we'll just take what we can get, right? You get this little guy. Oh yeah, sorry, it's kind of hidden. Egg machine. The egg machine. So what you do is you kind of like, it's got this little metal guy on top, and you poke holes in the tops of all of them. So that way they can vent. I'd never used one of these before, and then I used one once, and I was like, oh man, I gotta get one of these. So we're at a friend's house. It's like, man, need this. I'm a big egg fan. I do the egg. We fill it up to just below medium. Especially if some of these will end up being refrigerated. We'd like it below medium. So that everyone gets a little bit of runny yolk in there. Trying to get this is the finickiest part, right? I'm trying to like compensate for stuff by the amount of water. Because once it reaches a certain amount of like water is gone or whatever, or steamed whatever, it just gets... Yeah, okay, cool. Alright. Toss this guy on. And it will yell at us when it's done. In the meantime, we would like... Let's wash this super quick. One thing I forgot to mention last week with the Cafe Brûlot, or the other week when I did the demo of it, is that it will stain whatever you're making it in. metal, will become stained. So I don't care that this is stained. It doesn't matter to me, right? But it is stained, right? The cup that we used for the last demo last week is stained. It stains it. There's nothing wrong with this, right? There's nothing to scratch off. It's all just like it stained it. So that's something I forgot to mention. If you'd like to know. All right, and we want to prepare an ice bath for our eggs, so that way the eggs don't overcook. What I like to do is just put the ice in and wait for the eggs to be done, and then we put the eggs in and then add the water. So that way the ice doesn't spend all its time melting while the eggs are still cooking. And then maybe if I'm good about it, maybe if I'm on top of it, right before maybe I just, oh shit, I have oil on it. If I'm good about it and I know and I can anticipate, then I'll make the ice bath, right before. But it's easier to just kind of do this all at once, so that way, 6 minutes from now, it'll just kind of be ready to do itself for the most part. Oh shit, I have a bunch of pear butter in here. I just read my label on a thing. Oh, there's pear butter? What the fuck? Where do we get pear butter, man? Oh yeah, that's right. I made it. I remember. So funny. Want to make sure we respect the tare. That is so fucking good. I forgot how much I missed that drink. That drink is really good. The only thing that it might need some riffing on to make it like maybe even better in a way that like kind of evokes that alien quality. I have made drinks with Szechuan simple syrup. So I make Szechuan peppercorn simple syrup. And I like whiskey sours with that. It's really good. I've played around with it quite a bit. So maybe a little bit of Szechuan in here to add like a mouth-numbing quality. Could make for an interesting cocktail. No, but that's solid. And I think the acid-adjusted orange is really like, I don't know, it's taking up the mantle in a fun way. It's, I'm not disappointed. Fun tools and kits and stuff. Now we can smoke drinks and we can acid adjust any fruit we want. You could acid adjust like a melon. You could acid adjust watermelon. Yeah. Anything. Blueberry. Blueberry would be good. You want something with a little more body. Something that can stand up to itself but maybe doesn't have the kick of the lime, right? I feel like watermelon is more of a pushover kind of flavor. Like I've tried to make drinks and blend up watermelon and mix it with gin and stuff and strain it through or whatever. And it's just like the watermelon ends up going away. I have a hard time getting a watermelon to taste like much of anything. It tastes good when it's on its own. It tastes like whatever it tastes like. But... All right, we are getting there. I am pretty reticent on turning up the temperature. I don't want to do that. This is one of those, prep it, set it and forget it sort of things. Or no, sorry. You make it. You prep it, rather. And then you get to forget when it's done because you have it forever. Let's see, what else do we have? We've got our broth, our egg, our tare, our noodles. And I need this strainer for the broth first before I need it for the noodles. Let's see, what else was there? Oh, shit. I do have another thing that... Can I do it? Or did I use all the miso? I did use all the miso. Shit. Okay. That's going to have to be something I do next week. Fuck. I totally forgot. And I used all the miso. Producer showed me a drink that was like an espresso martini. I don't like the espresso martini label. I think it's dumb. Or the martini label, rather. The martini label has kind of expanded beyond things that are martinis to be anything that's served in a martini glass. And I think a lot of that's dumb. And an espresso martini is vodka and espresso in a glass. And I don't know. It's dumb, but she showed me this recipe, and it called for rum and liqueur 43, so it's more of a riff on a carajillo. And then it used this like miso simple syrup, and then banana liqueur. And I don't like bananas. I really don't. I don't care for them. And so I was wondering if instead of doing banana, I could try to figure out how to add peanut butter, peanut flavor, right? I bet it could be good. And it would be a peanut coffee miso drink as opposed to a banana coffee miso drink. They're pretty adjacent, you know what I mean? They occupy that same sort of area. But that'll have to wait till next week. Only one innovation at a time, right? We can smoke the drink. We can acid adjust the drink. And next is peanut butter, the drink. I'm going to have to figure out how to use that. Because that peanut butter powder is really good. It's intensely peanut-y in a roasted peanut way. But I can't really fat wash it because it's been defatted, right? It's basically a peanut butter meal, defatted peanut butter meal. So fat washing is kind of out of the question. Bet it would work kind of all right. Do I put it in with the miso? And then I do the liqueur 43 with the... I don't know. Oh, one other thing I wanted to try. Might be a little late to try that with that one, but I wanted to try... Boop. There's our eggs. Now we add our water. Right, because heat transfer between air, like between steam and water, is like steam is way lower than water is. And so if I add the water at the beginning, the ice is going to be all melted by the time the eggs get in there. So we smart. It's all good. Almost 9 o'clock. Almost time to pull. I wanted to try these cardamom bitters in here because it feels weird to add more than one kind of bitter, which is part of the reason why I wanted to do this orange acid adjust. But let's see. Huh. Let's try this again with something else. A different version of things to come. Here, we can move these out. We don't need to super juice anything. Or acid adjust anything, rather. I think super juice is something else. But it's very similar where you like adulterate a juice to make it like awesome as hell. All right. Let us try again. We will try pineapple, no lime, and cardamom bitters. Since we don't have to use our orange bitters. Yeah, okay. Let's try this version. Because, right, this is how you make a drink that tastes alien, is you fuck with the senses, right? And a good way of doing that is presenting you something you've already had before in a way that doesn't make sense. Yeah? Let's do an ounce. Let's just do an ounce. Getting too ahead of myself. Ounce, ounce, half ounce. And since we're not gated by half limes anymore, we can add as much or as little acid as we'd like. Because honestly, the barometer for a lot of my drinks that I make, it's almost always add half a lime, right? So if half a lime doesn't make sense, then you're kind of gated to whatever the half lime can provide. Another ounce of our Batavia Iraq. Wonderful sweet liquor. Half ounce. Okay. We want our salt, a little bit of salt. Just a teeny pinch. All right, and then we've got our lighter pour, because it's a smaller portion. And then, okay, do we want to just commit to the full orange? Because we tried it half-half. Or should we commit to the pineapple and try to see what goes on there? Let's do the pineapple. I guess I should just be measuring it in that, but it's hard to pour. Okay. Sorry. Trying to adjust my things on the fly. I don't measure when I pour sugar, because when I pour sugar into these, it doesn't come out of it, right? It doesn't make sense to pour sugar into it. But now that we have pourable acid instead of squeezed acid, I should be trying to pour and measure. That actually makes a lot more sense. Well, it smells like pineapple. All right. I love that shaken pineapple smell. And we've got the froth of pineapple, right? Shaken pineapple is so frothy. Wow. Whoa. Wow. Jesus Christ. Here. Actually, the pineapple is a little more overt. I'm going to add another... Because the whole idea of this cocktail, part of it anyway, is to use absinthe in a way that the absinthe is embraced. And this pineapple super juice just blew the absinthe out of the water, which is a really high watermark because absinthe is notorious for overpowering drinks. So this is like really, really interesting. Maybe it is mixology. This is like really kind of bonkers stuff. Okay, now it's starting to stand up to it. Maybe I just added too much acid. But it doesn't even taste that way. It tastes like it's the right amount of acid. But the absinthe isn't coming. Okay, maybe we need to readjust this if we're measuring. Cardamom bitters. Wow, we're really we're getting out there in a way that is like. I feel like this is something you could order at a bar for like $15. And honestly, it's super easy. You just get the canned pineapple juice and acid adjust it up. Crazy stuff, man. Learning and learning. Figuring it out. All right. We've neglected this for a little bit. But because we cleared the fond out at the beginning that we had when we had neglected it before, this is not nearly as bad. This is exactly... We're on the path, right? And it's 9 o'clock. So we should be good to strain out our broth. Whoop. Man, tasty. And it's a good amount of salty. I might add like... I kind of want to add like a little bit of brown sugar to it. But I don't know. I think it's fine. If I was going to add brown sugar, I'd like to do it earlier, right? When it's more liquidy. That way it can be, brought into solution. Whereas this way I feel like we're going to get like little bits of sugar in it. And I don't want that either. I want it to be like more of a cohesive kind of paste. But we're very close to the end of that part. Interesting cocktail experimentation. The acid adjusted pineapple is really fucking good. I was surprised with how much pineapple came through. Like even more than the orange juice acid adjusted tastes more like orange, but when you shake the pineapple, it comes out more in the drink almost. But I guess I didn't shake the orange. I only shook the pineapple. God, that is fucking crazy good. Well, something new to add to the quiver. We are going to drain our broth, or strain our broth. their little pot. Don't want to break that. Just got that. All right. All right, that is well and good. The mushrooms look well cooked. You know, flavor has been extracted. We're good here. Yeah, I smell the bonito and the kombu. You get the dashi flavor out of it. Yeah, we're good. All right. Let's try and not fuck this part up. But it's hot. We gotta finish it. We gotta be done with this. All right. Mission success. It's a lot of like letting this stuff drain out of here. I don't like really leaving much of anything behind. Pretty frugal when it comes to, you know, all the stuff I made. Not about to just, you know, give some to the sink. Alright. Just toss that on there. Deal with that later. Alright. Well, it might not be perfectly strained. It is also very tasty. This broth is going to be like killer. Like showstopper. Like you give this to somebody from out of town. They came through a fucking snowstorm. They eat this, and you're friends for life. You know what I mean? Sort of shit like that. And it's just, God, that's so fucking good. Yeah, pretty easy to do. All things considered. Okay, I don't think we need this, and we didn't even really use it. So let's go here. Man, my friends tomorrow are gonna have a field day with these acid-adjusted juices. What a fun thing. Carajillo riff for next week. Here, let me fix that. All good. Jam jam. Yeah. Next week, we're going to figure out how to get peanut butter powder into a espresso martini. And I don't think it'd be too far a jump from peanut butter to coffee. Because you would do peanut butter chocolate coffee, right? But peanut butter chocolate coffee is too many things going on. If you're going to add miso and all that shit, everything's going to get super muddled. None of the flavors are going to come out, you know. What you want is like some sort of triad. You want something kind of playing off of something else and like a... You ever watch they got the fucking... In vaudeville stuff, they got the or like juggling things. They got the guy who like does a bunch of juggling stuff, and it's a pretty common act. And they'll do it at the end of the show because they, you know, audience participation automatically trounces, you know, most other kinds of spectacle because they're unwitting participants, right? And so you get this like this juggler man, right? And using just, you know, statics, you can. I've seen the guy. They set four men up, and in a square, and they all like lie or they sit on a bucket, and then they lie back onto with their shoulders on the lap of the guy behind them, and they make this like square. And then the guy removes all the buckets, and then they just sit there, and they're like a human table or whatever. I've seen this in like a couple different vaudeville shows, like variety acts and stuff. And it's always like crazy because like none of the participants know what's going on, but they can follow basic directions and it works, right? Because of just how the structure is built of people. Um, and what was I gonna say about that? Man, totally lost my. I completely forget. Too many things at the same time. Something about that being like unwitting participants. I can't even remember what I was talking about. Too much drinking, too much experimenting. Um, yeah. Damn. My bad. That doesn't happen a lot. Oh yeah, the D&D. Okay. Yeah, sorry. Producer is filling me in on what I was talking about. God damn. Sorry. When the cocktail is part of the thing, I can get pretty bent out of shape early because I need to taste and try a bunch of cocktail to try to get to some sort of finish line. Yeah, it's one of those things where they'll they're unwittingly like kind of venturing into something, and then it'll be like a real showstopper because you know they don't really have to do anything extra special, but there's an extra special thing like waiting for them. You know what I mean? That's what I was talking about. But then they get to feel extra special for having like done. I don't know. God, that is really good. Pineapple and anise. Interesting. I need to make some allspice dram. I saw a recent recipe for some allspice dram. I think we can. What do we think? Do we think this is pretty good? Right? This is a lot thicker. I think it's come down in volume by half from the greatest volume, but it is still a little thinner than the like waxy product I was talking about. But I think this is fine. I think it's good. Because when it gets really, really waxy, it's like hard to remix it into water. It almost becomes hydrophobic. So I think this is good, actually. I just need this front burner for stuff. So let's just put this on like low. And we'll saute ourselves up some bok choy and or not enoki, oyster mushrooms. Man, wow. Every time I drink that like blows me away even a little more. That is some crazy shit. To the point where I forget where my water bottle is entirely. Man. Spice. Okay. Now we want the cast iron back. this guy. It's been hanging out. We'll just kind of keep it. A little bit of avocado oil. That's kind of my neutral oil of choice. I don't do any deep frying though. And I know that that could get really expensive. Deep frying shit in canola oil. Although I have seen people make chili crisp with canola oil. And apparently that ends up working out well. Because you don't really need entirely all that much. And it's not like you throw it away, right? You use it at some point. So let's just use a bunch of this. Trader Joe's crunchy chili onion. This one isn't super spicy, but it's got a lot of bases covered, you know what I mean? Alright. Let's get our bok choy. Friendly. I think I'm probably just going to do half of one. We need these for tomorrow. And also, like, you don't need half a bok choy in your fucking one deal of ramen. Right? And I know this all seems like a ton. But you do this once, and then you get to eat ramen like all week. You get to come home from the snowstorm every day after work, and you get to eat some real deal ramen that someone would pay out the nose for. You know what I mean? Alright. We're going to toss this back in the bag. It'll get eaten. Wait. Let's do half. That sounds like actually better. Math-wise. Quick maths. I like to just kind of cut these just so you have more like flat surface area to kind of go through. That way you get these planks kind of at the bottom. And then you get the bits that kind of wilt at the top. And they are all fun and taste different. That's what I like, the heterogeneity, right? Everything's a little different. You know, these wilty guys might get a little crispy, extra crispy, and these guys are kind of meaty, hearty. Let's grab smaller guy over here. That should be enough for me. All right, you want to wash off your produce always, but you want to be careful because mushrooms have the ability to like be very spongy in a way that like can make them hard to cook. So cut this in half so we get a couple pieces, a couple decent sized pieces. Here, let's cut it again. So we get 3 pieces. I've done wood ear mushrooms and enoki. I think we did oyster mushrooms one time. I've been making this recipe for a couple years now. Just one day kind of tried to commit to the whole thing. Did a bunch of research, and then that whole winter it was a lot of making this over and over again. Although, not that part, right? You only have to make that once. Every once in a while. lot of this food tastes a lot, especially like before it's prepared, right? So I'm gonna add a bunch of noodles that don't taste like a whole lot. So when I'm tasting all of these things, my glands, they get all like, all over. And so sometimes they get a little sniffly. My apologies. I'm trying my best not to be sniffly. I hope you know. I'm trying real hard not to sniffle. But it's like chili crisp and this like gochujang thing and like all this stuff. And it's like, oh, my body wants to sniffle. But I should not sniffle. Right? But all these elements are starting to come together. Right? Here. We should, since we don't need the strainer anymore, and we don't need this, I'm going to rewash some of these and use them for our noodle. Not quite ready to tackle the crock pot. That will happen later off screen. Nobody wants to watch anyone wash a crock pot on screen. I don't think so, anyway. The only problem with the straining of all the stuff with the bonito and everything is you end up getting a lot of these like little hanger-oners that kind of, it's the same sort of sieve or same size. You get all these little guys that just don't want to get the fuck out of the pot, the sieve. They just don't want to leave. Kind of get all stuck up in there. There's that. I'm also going to wash these tongs. Alright, loud noises. And this guy. I will say I'm not the best noodle maker, so that's something to keep in mind. I'm not really much of a noodle kind of guy, but it's ramen, and I like soup, and this soup has noodles. You know what? I'm going to sweat these vegetables a little more. So we're going to use a lid. Might not exactly fit, but it kind of fits. All right. We're boiling up some water for our noodles. guess we have our sake over here. Mostly for cooking, though. Kind of doesn't really taste like a whole lot. Because I haven't delved into the realm of sake to try to find out how to make it taste good. Or how to find ones that taste, you know, outstanding. We'll get there, though. I'm sure in a couple of years I'll have a sake phase and I'll try all the sakes at the store and read up on a bunch of stuff. We'll get there, right? You know what? I'm actually going to trade spots with these two. We're going to move this to here. We're going to move this back here. I think that would be a little more apt. The rear one can go all the way to high, and this one can just kind of stay at some amount. Might make a little more sense. And our noodle, let's get that out. I thought they had a rip away thing. That's funny. And normally each one of these bundles, if you happen to find the same sort of thing, each one of these bundles is 2 servings. At least the way we make it here. So I'm going to take one of these and take half the bundle. And this is real soup stuff, so like it's always better later, right? The broth will be better tomorrow. Everything will be better tomorrow. Wakare will be appreciated to be used tomorrow. All right. Shove these noodles back in. You know what? Let's do a whole one. What am I kidding myself? Because each one of these is 2, and that should be enough for tomorrow. Okay. The math wasn't mathing, and I was just like, man, what am I doing wrong? This should be... All right. We got our chili crisp cooking up on here. Get a little nice char on one side. Flip them over. Give them a little flip. These mushrooms got a nice little char on them. We got our eggs cooling back there. Gonna put an egg on this. Should we No, we shouldn't. We shouldn't. We should keep it on low, though. I think we're done with this lid. You know what? This lid fits right here, so we'll just put it right on top. How about that? And we can use all these noodles because we have 6 more servings for mañana. We're still just, you want to like cook off liquid until you can't. You don't think you can cook it off anymore. You know what I mean? And towards the end, it demands a lot of attention, and it's to the point where, like, you can cook it off as long as you are willing to just sit in front of this pot and keep stirring it. And at that point, feel free to make your own judgment, but it'll just make it more concentrated. Whatever it is. But, like, see, we're almost exactly at where we were before. We added all the sake. So we're getting there. I really wanted to make that carajillo this week. Next week, though. Acid adjust. This is a big addition. So, a lot of stuff. Let's try to start measuring. We don't need this brown sugar. We don't need these lemons, actually. We don't. We don't need the lemons. Not anymore. According to all the science. The science. Do I want to? Okay, we're gonna do orange, but we're gonna do straight up shaken orange because we didn't shake the orange before. Fucking yeah. I don't know why, but the corners of these fucking things, it grabs the ice so hard that you need to break the ice off of the corner before the ice is willing to, depart from the corner. All right. Ounce, half ounce. 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 Half ounce. Simple. We're at nucleate boiling. All right. So we got our booze, our sugar, salt. We want orange. How much orange do we want? An ounce? Let's go with an ounce. we'll adjust from there. There's a little bit of pulp in that, but you know, what are you gonna do? All right. I think that's about everything. We add the cardamom bitters at the end. I've been really digging these cardamom bitters. And I like them so much that I actually went and got more bitters at the store earlier this week. Now we also have chocolate bitters. Woo! All right. No, we don't want the chocolate bitters in this, that's for sure. Cardamom with these fruit drinks is so fucking good. With a shrub, with any of that stuff, these bitters are wonderful. Whoa! There it is. That's a more ideal form of this drink. Awesome. We riffed our way to a better drink. Awesome. It is more straightforward. I think it cleans up the discrepancies. Boil 4 cups of water. Put noodles into boiling water. Boil for 5 to 7 minutes, stirring with chopsticks. Rinse the noodles with cold water and drain well. Then put into prepared soup. You may add mushroom, carrot, shrimp, green onion to your taste. Oh, I got it. My bad. We gotta hit the go button on this thing every 30, 45 minutes, but there we are. All right. Oh, oops. That's the wrong spatula. Too many spatulas. All right. This is looking like what we want to put on top of our ramen. So just kind of scoot it to one end and kind of push it over. Boil for 5 to 7 minutes, stirring with chopsticks. Cool. I like that. I like that a lot. The flavor is supposed to be orange and absinthe, so. Let's get these served around. Shut the fuck up. 5 to 7 minutes. 9:38 right now, so 9:43 to 9:45. Set our strainer back up. Good thing I washed it. See, I don't know if Szechuan would help this drink though. I almost feel like I want more of those cardamom bitters. Yeah, I hope so. We're boiling up our noodles. How goes the Christmas presents? Producer is sewing Christmas presents. It's going. It is going. I'm gonna turn off the heat for just a sec, just to get this foam to come down. All the glutons. I just hit that like 2 minutes ago. All right, there we go. We're boiling. We're boiling. Yeah, we got it. All right. And since we have 3 more things, I took one of the whole things. I was debating half or the whole one, but it doesn't matter. And we're still cooking this down. It's getting thicker, you know what I mean? Like this is a thicker consistency than it was. You literally just cook it down until you can't cook it down anymore. Honestly, a lot of recipes are like that. You know, just finish when you'd like. When you give up, when you think it's best. 2 words for the same thing, you know. Our noodles. And then our... Yeah, everything's really coming together. Should I peel my egg? Should I get my egg all peeled?
Are you gonna boil water too to dip your the thing, or are you just gonna do cold broth?
I can just add water.
Yeah.
I'll just add a little bit of water to it.
Yeah.
That's the thing. The broth is pretty strong, so you can add water to thin it out if you'd like. We normally go like half to half. So
Yeah, because then you have the tare already.
with the tare and everything, yeah, becomes muy intense. Peel our egg. Oh, that egg is open on the top. That's fine. We'll just balance the egg upright until we put it in the bowl. Save all your eggshells for your compost so your tomatoes can have good skins on them. Otherwise, they'll get blight. And towards the bottom of the egg, they'll always have this weird fucking gray band of kind of decayed flesh. Nobody likes that. We got our eggs, everything. You know, there's these times in the kitchen where you don't exactly know what to do. You're doing so many things, but you got everything kind of going on its way. You kind of just don't, you know. It's like when you finish finals and you're like so gung ho and geared towards just like doing stuff, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, fuck, I got nothing to do. What the fuck am I supposed to do here? Well, I guess I make another drink, you know. Oh, the orange one is the one that I want. Great. I think that does cut down on the dissonance in a way that is helpful. I think it is a very helpful upgrade to the drink. Frees up bandwidth to try to add maybe something, some sort of overtone. This feels like a very completed drink. Maybe I can get something that kind of like whoop, and then just like X factors it into the stratosphere. You know, something like that. Right now. It's fine. $45. You know what? That is our cue. Stuff over there, so we're just gonna dump and rinse under cold water. The instructions indicate. How the hell am I supposed to see though? Fucking Christ. I'll just put that in the middle. There's an extra noodle. No! Fallen soldier, no! You'll make it back home. No! Get in there! Yeah! All right. So normally what we do is use a common measure. Like this. That's a common measure. And we will go half to half with things. So currently we need to get ramen broth with tare in it to make our spicy miso ramen broth. Make sure you want to stir this up. There's a little bit of fat sitting on top, so it's good, always good to do that. So we'll do like 1, 2, right? I'm just gonna, normally, this is done with a spoon in a container. We have this right here, so let's just give a fair shake. And since I did 2 ladles worth of broth, I will also do a couple ladles worth of water. Got 1 and 2. And that together should make our broth. The soup. Grab my chopsticks. And this is a good time where we're trying to integrate that miso in. All right. And then we're going to add some noodles. We're going to add some of our pork. Let me grab a fork for our pork. Music stopped. All right. Fork and pork. Let's grab some of this. And I know it's not chasu, but it is almost the same, just in a different shape. I swear. I swears. Right. And then our toppings, like our mushrooms and our bok choy. Can reuse this. Our mushroom and bok choy. And then our egg. You telling me this doesn't look like a wonderful bowl of ramen? A supreme bowl of ramen, even. Here. If this didn't convince you... Oh! No, we didn't even put it away because it's been out here the whole time. The Chekhov's gun. The fucking scallion. Let's go. We're going to go with one of these guys. Jump, jump. Move our noodles out of the way. Don't want to get them dirty. Whole scallion. Just poke it. Don't even need to scoop it with the thing. Although this is the scoop, smash and scoop Babish knife. Just grab a handful. Just toss it on top. I'm telling you, this is probably going to be one of the best bowls of ramen you've had. And it will definitely be the best bowl of ramen you've had at home. And it's not a lot of expensive ingredients. It's a fair amount of ingredients, you know. Ingredients cost stuff. But in terms of expensive ingredients, everything is pretty affordable. It's an amalgam. Right? Boom, 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 boom. Spicy miso ramen, their bok choy, and our egg and everything. Man. That was really fucking good. Please. Make yourself some. I think I might actually try something else before we depart. I kind of settled on the fact that this version of that dipstick drink is, closest to what I envisioned it to be. And now we can refine it and try to expand on it, right? And I do have a pepper grinder over here. I don't know if you know, you can take these pepper grinders and you can muscle off the top and you can reuse it for other things. So I filled this with a bunch of Szechuan peppercorns. I'm going to remake this drink and I'm going to crack a couple of things into it and we'll see if it benefits the drink. If it does, perhaps it will become a part of it. If it does not, then who gives a shit, right? So, one final thing I'd like to try on stream because, it's all live experimentation, right? And if you guys weren't here, I'd still be doing this. And perhaps it is a little funner as a result of the stream. Perhaps it's more... gives more insight? I don't know. I don't know what the word is. What the phrase is. But for some reason, I feel compelled. On stream. Try out something else. Maybe it's because it's one of those things, like this drink kind of feels like a project. And I've kind of made headway in fits and starts. And it's one of those things where, here's another, like, whole fucking thing. I think we did 3/4 of an ounce last time. So it's just like, I'd like to see how far I can take it, right? We're already making progress today. Today is a make progress day. Let's see if it's a make a ton of progress day. Make a little bit of progress day, right? Oh, howdy. Almost didn't make it. What are we cooking? Doesn't look like ramen. I mean, sure does. Look, it is ramen. We made ramen. Sorry. We started a little earlier. It is 6:30 Pacific Standard Time when we tried to start. We started at about 6:45. Oh, didn't see that one. Yeah. We've been making ramen here the whole time. I made a tare, so that way we can... This is a mixture of miso and gochujang, right? And a bunch of other stuff. Ginger, garlic, sesame oil, like vinegar and stuff. And then we made our broth. So I took a whole rack of spare ribs and cooked them down in this crock pot right here. And we started the stream with the crock pot full with the ribs. And from there, we took the ribs out, deboned them, and I added to the stock that was in the kettle, or not the kettle, sorry, the crock pot. Sorry, too many words. Part of today's stream was trying to figure out some drink stuff, so I've been missing out on stuff. Yeah, so we added kombu, which is kelp. We added bonito flakes, which is like fish scales that are dried out. They use them for stuff. And then we added mushroom on top of that. And all together, that made this broth here, right? And then we've been adulterating the broth with our tare, right? Because I believe that's how the ramen shops operate. They make like one mother broth or like one like main broth, and then if you ask for like shio ramen, that they add salt. They add some slurry with salt in it, right? If you ask for shoyu ramen, they'll add, soy sauce, some mixture of stuff with soy sauce, right? If you ask for miso ramen, they'll ask for some mixture of stuff with miso in it, right? And so this is our spicy miso tare. And I did miso, gochujang, yeah, and all that stuff. So I already went into that. You basically mix that together. That gives you your stuff, your broth, sorry. And then I shredded all of the pork from the ribs. And so you use that instead of the chasu. And then I got some udon from the Asian food store. Um, and so it's powdered with flour, so you know it hasn't been cooked, it's raw. And then we boiled that up. I added some bok choy, some mushroom, and we did an egg. There's an egg in here too, and everything. So full on stuff. So I'm really appreciative that you came back. Honestly, um, sorry. We normally do start earlier. We've just been straying later and later. It's kind of closer to that holiday season, and I don't know. This is kind of a hobby, but it's wonderful that you checked in. If you want to rewatch the stream, that's like totally understandable. And if you want to like key in on some of the stuff, it is Christmas soon. Yeah. This is gonna be. I'm gonna bottle this up. I'm gonna put this in quart jars or in mason jars, and give them away. I'm gonna give this away to people for Christmas because we have access to Asian food stores here. So I'm trying to make a bunch of doable recipes into like a basket of goods because my parents and my sister are really into Asian stuff. Without spoiling, this actually might, because it's miso and it's gochujang. It might actually make it. Um, but I don't know. Do you have any Asian food stores in Ecuador? By the way, we were all the second half of the stream was mixing drinks using acid adjusted fruits and stuffs. I don't think I added. That's right. We wanted to make it the same, but add Szechuan. So we got our orange. I know we added salt in our stuffs. So that's everything here. I think that's it. Korean mostly. Hey. Supermarkets sell a couple Asian things. Oh, never mind. There are some Asian stores at the big cities. Korean mostly. Korean would probably get you pretty far with this sort of stuff. Actually, those noodles that I have, they're from Korea. They're Korean made. sorry to just fill you in on what you missed. But the other half of this has been experimenting with this drink that I made a couple months ago. So I made this drink trying to like use absinthe in a way that was like, oh, I should have put that into the, my bad, I totally messed that up. I should have put that in before I shook it up. Honestly, here, let's just add it back in. Give me a sec. Sorry. Too many things. All right. We're adding a fair amount of Szechuan peppercorn to this drink. Perhaps I should strain it, honestly, at this point. All right. I can't really say I get any of the Szechuan. Damn. Well, anyways, the other half of the stream, we've been acid adjusting different kinds of juices. So this one is orange and this one is pineapple. And we added malic and citric acid in proportion to adjust orange and pineapple to lime juice. So we can use the orange and pineapple like we would use lime, right? In cocktails, that's very useful, right? Orange is not super useful in cocktail, land. So, yeah. This would have been Heisenberg if he didn't have cancer. Maybe. I don't know if you can find these in Ecuador, but if you can get your hands on citric and malic acid, you add them in proportion, and you can adjust any fruit to the acidity of lime. So if you do like drinking, you can make everything into lime juice, and you can basically make a daiquiri out of anything you want. And the reason why I've been making this drink, and I'll probably make it another time, if you rewatch earlier in the stream, I'll explain it. But this drink kind of revolved around using lime, the punch of lime, but masquerading it as orange. I do not consume alcohol, but I do enjoy new drinks. Well, there you go. Then you can acid adjust these fruits to give that sort of thing. The whole idea with a lot of cocktails is you don't want to dilute things too much because you end up watering the drink down in a way where it doesn't like. There's something about a cocktail where it is the full encapsulation of an idea. It exists in a vacuum, and it totally understands itself in a way that it like. You know how you smell something and it teleports you back into like a time or a place? That's what a cocktail is. A good cocktail is that. It is a time and a place. It is an experience in and of itself. And so having lesser acidity juices, while they might taste good, can serve to dilute that experience in a way that detracts from the drink. So now we can acid adjust all our juices to be as punchy as lime, which fares well with alcohol. And so we can make everything fare well with alcohol. with this sort of thing. It might be helpful in a non-alcohol sort of application. Sorry, I am pushing alcohol on people. That's not a very good idea, but yeah. I don't know. Good ramen. This ramen's really good. The tare is almost done. It's Twitch. There's worse. You know? Yeah. At least I'm not in a hot tub or a pool or whatever. Yeah, we're just hanging out here. We're learning how to make stuff. We're learning what tastes good. I'm trying to impart whatever I learned from some weird article about something that happened in Asia to make this. And that might be entirely wrong. It might be right. I don't know. We're all just trying to figure it out. So, yeah, man. But I think I'm about good on this stream. I think everything's been made. I'm sorry. I wish I could have. I wish I could be here while you're here. But it's about that time. We actually started on time, so we're actually finishing on time. And that's a little less than usual. But producer is almost back from her sewing expedition. She's been working on some stuff for Christmas time. Jolly good. Short but sweet. My presence. Sorry. Please come back next time. We are 6:30 Pacific Standard Time. We're trying to be better about it. And if you can't make it for the stream, feel free to come back and watch. It's wonderful. I'm really glad that you came back, honestly. And we will try to make encebollada another time. It is on my list. I am looking into it, and we will make it. Yeah. Okay, cool. I'm glad you like it, for real. Like honestly, this is the whole reason why I'm trying to do this stream, and so people come back and like are interested and engaged. You got me on the first half. I thought you were making it next week. Ah, my bad. We can make it next time. Let's make it next week. Can we make it encebollada next week? Okay, we will make it next week. No, not 2025. We will make it on the 26th of December. We will make it before the next year, 2024, after the day after Christmas. I don't know if I'll be around that week. Well, we also stream to YouTube, and that stuff stays around. Would you prefer that I make it the next week, the following week? I don't care. I'm down for whatever. But honestly, you gave me the recipe, so I'd like to do it with your wishes, if that's better for you. Let's begin 2025 with the best recipe ever. Wonderful. Then we will do it the first stream of 2025. So that would be Thursday. Do you know what the first Thursday of the year? The second. Thursday the 2nd. We will do it. That's a promise. We will do encebollada on the 2nd of January, 2025. Thank you for coming back. I really do appreciate it. I hope you found what you're looking for. And I think this is the end. Ta-da!